NVIDIA to invest in the U.S. Our Silvana Henao is here with that and much more. Silvana, good morning.
Hey, Frank, good morning. That is right. And as you mentioned earlier, shares of NVIDIA are on the move after their nearly 2% pop yesterday. CEO Jensen Huang telling the Financial Times his company plans to spend several $100 billion to source U.S.-made chips over the next 4 years, including those from Taiwan Semi and Foxconn. Now, this coming after Huang shared his vision with Jim Cramer on Mad Money last night on the trillions still yet to be spent.
The world's computing capex, it's on its way to $1 trillion annually by the end of the decade. So we're fairly certain of that. We're also very certain that the vast majority of that will be used for AI. And so our opportunity as a percentage of $1 trillion by the end of this decade is quite large.
Now, on DeepSeek, Huang adds concerns over its R1 model are completely wrong, telling CNBC it's actually a, quote, fantastic thing.
R1 DeepSeek was a fantastic thing. And the reason for that is because R1 is the first open-sourced reasoning model. What makes R1 incredible is that it reasons. That's why the answer is so good. And it breaks the problem down step by step. It asks itself while it's thinking. It comes up with several different options for the answer.
Staying with NVIDIA, Reuters is reporting CoreWeave is eyeing a $47 to $55 per share price target for its IPO. The report says that price range for the NVIDIA-backed AI startup would result in a $2.3 to $2.7 billion offering.
NVIDIA is one stock that rallied yesterday. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang says his company is set to spend hundreds of billions of dollars on chips and other electronics manufactured in America over the next 4 years. That's according to an interview Huang gave to the Financial Times. In it, he also said NVIDIA is now able to produce its most advanced systems in the U.S., partnering with Taiwan Semiconductor and Foxconn. NVIDIA coming off a day in which its CEO made a variety of headlines at the company's GTC conference in California. Huang said orders for more than 3 million flagship Blackwell chips from 4 top cloud providers actually underrepresented demand. He expanded on the demand the company is seeing later on CNBC's Mad Money.
The world's computing capex, it's on its way to $1 trillion annually by the end of the decade. So we're fairly certain of that. We're also very certain that the vast majority of that will be used for AI. And so our opportunity as a percentage of $1 trillion by the end of this decade is quite large.
The NVIDIA CEO made a number of other headlines. He said NVIDIA sees only a little short-term impact from President Trump's tariffs. And on Chinese AI startup DeepSeek, Huang said fears that similar models wouldn't need to use as much computing power. Those beliefs were misplaced.
It's really pretty interesting. I got to catch parts of the interview. And about the tariffs, he said, look, we're already onshoring. We're going to be, within a couple of years, we're not going to think about tariffs at all. And it's like, that's the idea, I think. But he said, we're talking to TSMC, talking to others,
right,
to start building everything here. And I saw one of the, he calls it a chip. I mean, it's a freaking, it looks like a laptop almost. They're so big. There's so much going on.
So powerful.
And it's just, and it's mind-boggling to me, the architecture, the electronics that are, it's not even electronic. I don't even know what it is. It's
circuitry.
Thank God for electrical engineers.
All right. Well, that kind of takes us to NVIDIA and the GTC event. You obviously spent a couple of days there, or more than that. You sat down with Mr. Jensen Huang, of course, on our show at the 10 o'clock, and then a lot longer as well on Mad Money, sort of breaking down his outlook for the company. Take a listen.
We now have to build AI infrastructure for 3 industries. For the cloud, for enterprise IT, and for robotics.
Well, that's, in the end, that's the world.
This is, yeah, we're gonna be the foundation for
the world.
The world, hopefully, yeah.
Foundation for the world, that's pretty significant ambition, I guess, Jim.
I wish I could say it was just hubris. The market seems to think it is. Stock selling for arguably 19 times earnings. I think it's all wrong. I think NVIDIA is an inexpensive stock. $1 trillion total addressable market for the cloud, $1 trillion for autonomous vehicles, $1 trillion for robots. The robots I saw, David, were really the stars of the show. They were remarkable, whether they be little droids or whether it be robots that I had a very robust discussion with. The only thing they wouldn't talk about is tariffs. They're much better at sweeping floors and putting things in the dishwasher.
I mean, we had a conversation yesterday about robots, quite a significant one, so I don't want to go down. Oh, there it is. Actually, all right.
Yeah.
That is one cute robot.
Yeah, the one on the right is protective tariffs. The one on the left is saying, listen, just reciprocal. And then I said, yo, you know what? That's all I need to know. Goodbye, sell everything. I mean, that's what people are doing. I think that look, you know that there's a bit of optimism out here about the president?
Okay.
I don't know if we have a 7-second clip about what Jensen's saying about the president in his meetings and how he's actually going to bring some manufacturing here. He doesn't really manufacture anything, but he'll use Taiwan Semi. But,
well, yeah, Taiwan
bullish,
Semi
David.
is going to be
me
manufacturing a lot of the chips, you know, to just paraphrase what Jensen told you, that are going to be made here for NVIDIA, right? And NVIDIA is still the go-to for all the GPUs that are needed to obviously power this AI revolution we've talking about, not to mention those little robots that you were looking at there, not to mention autonomous cars potentially and so many other things that he was talking about. So, yeah, that's going to happen, I guess, Jim.
Right.
But investors, when it comes to NVIDIA, are they just looking at 28 and discounting back? And, all right, it's fine. But
they don't believe.
It's
they
never going to see the kind of growth that it saw last year or the year prior when obviously the revolution was in its earliest stages.
Well, I think that Jensen feels that last year at this time, it had a good business. Now it's 100 times more than he thought, literally in 365 days. Again, the stock is saying, don't believe what that man says. Just ignore him. I can't do that. He's too good. He's too rigorous. I'm against the sellers who come out every single morning and I got in a moment of his aspiration, said, they've turned the greatest company we have in this country into a meme. The traders don't know what they're doing.
What does that mean?
It means that the people who are selling it right now at 11 after 9, they don't know the difference between, I don't know, a gas-powered drill and a battery-powered drill. Do you?
I don't know. I hope so.
One has more torque.
I hope so.
Just say the word torque, okay?
Torque. Torque.
I dropped the term at scale when I was with NVIDIA, and now I've switched to torque.
All right, you're using torque.
You need more torque. We need more torque, David.
We're going to need a bigger boat. All right, but
okay.
NVIDIA is up. NVIDIA is up. That's very nice.
It was down $1 just a few seconds ago when the Jokers, the Cowboys. Look at that, the Cowboys. Yeah, Dak Prescott, $250 million, whatever. I just like, David, this is an example of what I'm talking about, the clown show that exists before the market opens. NVIDIA was at 118 and 30 cents when we were slamming them down at Trader Vic's, and now it was at 116 when I got up, and now it's at 118. Tell me about what that's worth. What does the market do before at 4 a.m. that is so specially stupid?
It's not. I don't know why you focus on it. You should you start to focus on the market when it opens at 9:30.
Because I'm up at 4, and I have no one to talk to.
I know. Well, you do a good job talking to yourself.
Then Frank Collin, I talked to at 5 o'clock. I yell at the screen.
Yep, I watched Frank when I was in Singapore
everybody
last
else.
week. Yeah, because it was 5 in the afternoon there. NVIDIA is down about $800 billion in market value since its top. That obviously is larger than the market cap still of more or less Eli Lilly and Walmart. It would be its worst performing quarter since the third quarter of 2022, but it is hanging in there, at least in this session, and still up 30% for the last year, Jim.
Well, you know why? Because he's talking quantum today, and that's another ridiculous thing that everybody's excited about that's not going to be good for 3 to 5 years.
In today's event, where NVIDIA's founder, CEO Jensen Huang, he's going to share the stage with 14 quantum CEOs. Not all of them are, CEOs of publicly traded companies, but there's going to be, it appears to be really an attempt to rebuild the relationship with the quantum computing sector. And the timing is particularly noteworthy as well. It was announced this Quantum Day just 1 week after he made those CES comments in January. And following Tuesday's announcement in his keynote that NVIDIA is also developing a quantum computing research center in Boston. So you can see that his tone, I guess, is more pleasant, not pleasant, but just more optimistic about the technology. And despite today's gathering, though, quantum stocks continue to trade down heading into the event and remain substantially below their previous highs. The ongoing volatility really underscores the speculative nature of investments in this emerging technology sector, which we continue to cover given that volatility, guys.
Yeah, absolutely, Christina. And good to point that out. I mean, a lot of these companies are either very early stage, very low revenue, and have massive runs on a speculative flow. What I wonder about, in the context of Jensen Huang's comments about quantum back then, and maybe he wants to kind of, unwind a little bit of that skepticism, is there any inherent technological rivalry here? In other words, if the magic hopes of what quantum computing can do come to realization relatively soon, does that somehow counter NVIDIA's business and its kind of bets that it's laid in terms of how the future is going to look?
Well, I guess it would mean that you would require less hardware, right? If they're able to provide extremely advanced computing, in the near term, you may not need as much hardware. And it almost, you can parallel that with the DeepSeek comments, right? So the DeepSeek, a large language model that was able to be built on less advanced chips. And if quantum computing is able to find that technology so advanced, then perhaps that could be a negative. But I'm sure NVIDIA, given their array of revenue streams, they would find a way to capitalize that on the near term, or already doing so, they're just not publicly saying.
Please leave a like on this video so more people will see it. And while you're down there, please consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always change your mind. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.